Hello everyone, I'm Alex Juhan, and today is another video in my cybersecurity series. Today we'll be going over Nmap 3 Automated, which is a Python 3 script that I wrote. Essentially what it does is it uses the Nmap 3 library written by nmmapper on Github. I'll link their GitHub in the video description below. But what I essentially did using this library was created a script that takes a variable specified in the command line, which that variable that you declare in the command line is used as a target for an Nmap scan. My Nmap scan runs two separate scans on the target, a DNS brute script and a top 10 port scan, which will show what each of those scans looks like. The main purpose of this script is the automation capabilities that it presents. Ideally, we can have it run daily or hourly or at set intervals so that we can gain long-term data on the state of a target. And as it's automated, it can allow us to just let it run and we can collect lots and lots of data. Ideally, after this, I'd like to create a JSON visualizer, and I can show an example of what visualizing the data would look like. And then for myself, I'd like to create a script that does it automatically and makes it even easier to read so that we can find more trends in the data. All right, essentially, just a quick setup, how you would install everything, all the directories and everything else that you would need to make sure that it runs properly. So if we were to go through it, first thing what we're doing is we are importing argparse. And this module helps us take the argument that we are declaring in the command line, whether it's a website or an IP address, and converts it into a string, which we can use as a variable, which we identify here. And that variable target is what we are going to run our two Nmap scans on. Here we import Nmap 3, which is the main library that we're going to be using. It basically turns each Nmap function into just a simple command, whether it's nmap DNS brute script, scan top ports, etc. Essentially what it's doing is taking really long pieces of code and making it into one simple command or a function that we're calling upon. And we're running our target variable that we established earlier through it. We're going to import the JSON module to help format the data. And then we're going to create an nmap variable, which is calling the nmap 3 library. Now, this part is really interesting and really important for helping with sorting our logs. We're going to import the time module, and using it, we are going to create a variable called timestring. And what it essentially does is it turns the current date and time into a string, which we will store in this variable timestring. And later, we are going to be using this timestring in our file name. This is really useful and important because when we're sorting through our logs, we have it each one separated by date and time that it was created. I added a note. Make sure you create a directory to export the logs to before running the script. And then you're going to point to that directory using the variable path. So for me, I'm going to be doing this example in my Windows machine. And this is the pathway or to the JSON_logs directory that I created where I'm storing all of these logs. The next module we're going to import is called OS. Using it is going to help us point to this directory. Then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to create two variables, BS file for brute script and TP file for top ports. And we are going to join together the pathway that we established here, the time string, and whether it's the DNS brute script or the top ports scan, we are going to put all that together to create the file name. So for example, it's March 28th, 2023 at 8:47 p.m. That if I were to run the script right now, the time string variable would show that time. It would put it in this pathway. And at the end of it, it would add DNS brute script.json. Then json.dump, we're going to dump the brute script variable, which is the results from this Nmap scan on our target. And then we are going to indent equals 6, which will help it be more legible. Then we're going to close it, and that means that it's all done. It'll save it to the directory that we established earlier. Same thing here, just with the TP top ports file. So I can quickly give a demonstration of it here. I have it already loaded in my terminal. So if you hit enter, just let it load. All right, now if we go to my folders, I'll show you, but this is my Python 3 Nmap, JSON logs, and we have all the different logs that I've collected here. So if we look, this is the most recent one, 3/28/2023 at 8:48 p.m. Perfect. I can just do a quick demonstration of what it looks like. So this is going to be the DNS brute script. Shows all the addresses and host names that can be scanned from this Megacorp1 address. Okay, and then if we were to click on the top ports, this is the really interesting one. It can be really useful for penetration testing. We can see all the ports and their statuses, whether it's closed or open, what protocol they work with, TCP protocol, and etc. There's lots of data that can be worked with here. Okay, so that was the demonstration of the script. The next thing we're going to do is show how to automate it in either a Windows or Linux environment. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be demonstrating for automation purposes of our script is going to be cron tabs. Cron tab is what we use in a Unix environment to automate processes. So to access this, we're going to say sudo cron tab -e, and we can see all of the ones that we have scheduled here. So here, we can see that I've input it here. I add a comment to myself, let myself know that it's the Python 3 Nmap daily scan that I'm doing. We're going to go down here and see that there's a 2 here. What this 2 represents is the hour. So at 2, the second hour of every day, the script is going to run. And we put it exactly how we would on the command line. Sudo, call upon our version of Python, the name of the script. We'll use -t to indicate that's the target, and then the target address. And then we just Control X. I'm using Nano. You might use Vim or whatever your editor is in Linux. That is up to you. But for me, in Nano, I'm going to hit Control X. And if I had made changes, it would have asked if I wanted to save it. But now, I can confirm that it's running daily at 2 a.m. Next, I'll show you how to do this in a Windows environment. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is use Task Scheduler on our Windows machine to automate this script in a different environment than our Linux environment. So with Windows, we need Task Scheduler because cron tab is not an option. So first thing we're going to do is hit Create Task. Okay, then we'll name our task. We need Nmap 3 automated, just because that's the name of the script. We'll go to Actions, New. That's a little bit confusing, but we are going to actually name the file pathway where our Python installation is. So for me, it's going to be C, Python 3.10, python.exe. Then for arguments, we can list the full pathway that our script is installed, along with the -t and the website address or IP address. Okay. Then we're going to go to triggers. We'll add a new one. And then we can, this is where we can customize whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, etc. So I'll say daily, ptask every hour. And then I'm going to hit OK. And we're going to hit OK here. And then we can see that it's been created here and we have it ready to run. So now we have an automated Python script in our Windows environment as well. So for the final part of this video, I just wanted to give a demonstration of what a JSON visualizer can do with the data that we're collecting from these scheduled Nmap scans. So if I take a copy and paste of one of our top port scans and paste it into this visualizer and I generate it, we have this beautiful table, and the data is really easy to read now. It's in this great format where we have all of it stacked, so protocols, port ID, and the state that it's in. And this makes it really easy to study the data. Ultimately, long term, as we study more and more of this data and we get more sample data to work with, we can use that and this formatting to identify trends in the data and how it relates to the overall security of the target. For example, if we are doing a penetration test and we run this script hourly for a week straight, we can definitely notice trends in the data as we compare tables like this. So for example, we can notice that port 22 is open now, but maybe it's only open at a certain hour of the day, or port 23 is only open at a certain hour of the day, and the rest of the day it's closed. This is really important for a penetration tester, because if they're able to notice this, a hacker 100% will be able to exploit that. So this is really useful both for offensive and defensive security, and moving forward, creating more ways to sort the data and make it legible so that we can identify these trends is what I'd like to do. All right, everyone, so that's going to be it for my demo today. I hope it was interesting and useful for you. If you're interested in more content like this, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll be releasing weekly videos about various cybersecurity topics, as well as tutorials on popular tools like Wireshark, Burp Suite, etc. All the tools that will help you if you're interested in breaking into the cybersecurity field. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.